Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fashion is Cool podcast, where we explore the multi-careers in fashion and educate you on what it's like to be in the fashion industry by talking to the professionals who make it all happen. I'm your host, Dwight Carter, producer, consultant, community builder, and the guy who somehow ended up spending his entire career creating space for designers, even though I've never taken one design class. Today's episode is really special, and it's just me today. We're talking about Wes Gordon's trip to St. Louis and the impact it had on our students, our design community, and honestly, he had a lot of impact on me. What happened in Weill Hall on the campus of Washington University reminded me why I do this work and what it truly means to build a city of designers. Let me start here. Having someone like Wes Gordon, the creative director of Carolina Herrera, sit down with our students, look at their work, talk to them eye to eye, that's not normal. That doesn't happen in most cities. And yet here in St. Louis, it happened in Weill Hall. Students from Stevens College, Washington University, Lindenwood University, and the University of Missouri-Columbia showed up with their sketches, their garments, their questions, and their anxieties. And Wes showed up with his honesty, encouragement, and a belief in young talent that felt real. What I saw that day was a reminder that mentorship doesn't require a massive production. It requires intention, it requires presence, and it requires someone saying, "I see you, keep going." I've been thinking a lot lately about what it really takes to build a city of fashion designers. Most people think it's only possible in New York or anywhere else but St. Louis, honestly. But the truth is, designers can build careers anywhere. Creativity isn't tied to a zip code. Wealth isn't tied to a zip code. And opportunity shouldn't be tied to one either. If our city invests in emerging talent, if we create the platforms, the mentorship, the infrastructure, St. Louis could become a hub for designers who don't want to follow the traditional path, but want to define their own. And I think Wes made that very clear to our young designers. I truly believe designers are the foundation of our industry. Without them, there would not be an industry. Everything from events, shows, marketing, merchandising, retail, runway, all of it starts with a designer and a sketch, or a designer and a story. When we uplift designers, we uplift the entire ecosystem. When I look back at where I started, I didn't always understand the impact I could make as an event producer, event consultant, someone just involved in different fashion organizations. I wasn't thinking about the legacy or community design ecosystems. I was just trying to create great shows and find ways to fill gaps. But over time, something happened. Designers started showing up, students started reaching out. We started building micro platforms, events, showcases, conversations, workshops. And without even realizing it, we were creating this pipeline for local emerging and college designers that St. Louis had never seen before. Now, I'm not a designer, and I have not been in retail for a while. I was for about 20 years. But what I am is someone who cares deeply about designers feeling seen, supported, and valued. And that became my purpose. It took a while, but now I know what my purpose. Something else I've been reflecting on. Something I don't say out loud enough is this. The idea of Brainchild being a brand has gotten lost under many platforms I've created for the design community. I consider my events a narration of each designer's development. That's the truth. Brainchild isn't just a company. It's a lens. It's a storytelling machine. It's my way of amplifying designers so loudly that people have no choice but to pay attention. Every event I produce, whether it's a runway show, a luncheon, a workshop, it's a chapter. And every chapter tells a story of a designer becoming who they're meant to be. So let's talk about the thing that everyone whispers about, but no one wants to confront, and that's funding. If we want to keep this momentum going, if we want to keep more Wes's coming to town, more mentorships, more showcases, more opportunities, we need real investment. We need the city foundations, corporations, and donors to understand that building a design economy is economic development. It's job creation, it's tourism, it's cultural experience. The question is, how do we get the funding in our city to help local projects grow? I think the answer starts with visibility. with people like Wes coming here and making the world pay attention. And the Fashion Fund has done a really good job of bringing those designers to St. Louis, with students doing incredible work, with community members seeing the value firsthand. It grows when we can point to moments like that day with Wes and say, this is why it matters. This is why St. Louis deserves to be a part of fashion conversation. Wes reminded our students and reminded me that creativity thrives where it's nurtured, that St. Louis has something special, that our designers deserve investment, opportunity, and a platform. What comes next depends on us, depends on our willingness to believe in a future where designers don't have to leave St. Louis to be successful, where our talent becomes our cultural currency, where Brainchild continues telling stories that elevate the people who create the future of fashion, which are students. And I'll end the way I began, at the heart of my mission. Designers are the foundation of our industry. Without them, there would be no industry. And as long as I have a platform, they'll always have a place to grow. Thank you for listening. I am Dwight Carter. This is the Fashion is Cool podcast. Please like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who believes in our local talent. And let's keep creating, keep building, keep believing in our designers. And I will talk to you next time. Thank you.